Welcome to Industries Times, the go to platform where businesses power up their promotions and make their brand voice heard.
Whether you're a startup looking for visibility or an established brand launching something new, Industries Times is where your story finds the spotlight.
And now, let's kick off today's
We are
episode.
deep diving into the engine room of modern e-commerce, business analytics. Joining us in Srinivasan M S, founder and CEO of Seven Sages Solution, a company that's transforming how brands grow smarter using data. From helping D2C brands thrive in competitive marketplaces to building plug and play tools for sellers, Srinivasan Sir has been at the forefront of solving some of the toughest problems in the digital commerce ecosystem. This episode is powered by One Vendor platform, and trust me, if you are a founder, marketer, or just curious about the future of data-driven growth, this one's not to be missed. Srinivasan Sir, it's truly a pleasure to have you with us today. Thank you for joining.
Thanks, Michelle. Thanks for having me here.
Let's begin with your journey. Sir, before founding Seven Sages, what inspired to step into this space? Was there a moment when you clearly saw the gap in the e-commerce system?
Well, I've been part of the FMCG CPG industry for all around 17 plus years, and all through I wanted to start something on my own. But the last and about 6 to 7 years of my career has been into e-commerce, building brands, scaling up globally, and so on and so forth. And the burst of e-commerce as a channel in the industry saw a lot of abundance in data, right? You get data right from the consumer coming in and ending up with your purchase and reviewing your product. So that gives the whole range of data, a complete customer journey in your hands, right? So this excited and gave me an idea of how to use data analytics in your decision making and so on and so forth. And initially we started, so this was the idea that gave birth to Seven Sages. So initially we started focusing on category estimation on online e-commerce space. But we quickly understood that that's not a usual business as usual game. It happens once in 3 years or 5 years. So we wanted to be a part of daily transactional business. And my co-founder Shibu Korean joined us about a year and a half before, and we completely focus now on two product lines. One is self-service analytics for D2C brands, and the other is the new tool that we have in the basket, which is Wapso, which we will speak more today.
Sir, that's quite a journey. So building on that, when you looked at the e-commerce landscape back then, what was the one major problem that really stood out to you as unsolved or underserved?
Yeah. So, back then within the D2C or the e-commerce space, like I said, data abundance was always omnipresent, but you had different channels, different mediums, and different platforms through which you gather data, right? For example, you have Meta, Google, you have marketplaces data, you have your own website, data, and you have multiple logistics supply chain data through which different tools were used. While people were seeing data in different forms and different ways to see, we saw a huge opportunity in not being integrated and them being very fragmented. So the whole point is, how do you unify and combine this data to look into a form where decision making becomes sharper and helps you to take action in your business? So that's the biggest, I would say, the opportunity or the insight that we really saw through.
And sir, today even the most active online sellers are surrounded by data, sales numbers, traffic stats, pricing trends. Yet many still feel directionless. So why do you think so many brands, despite having access to so much data, struggle to burn it into meaningful insights?
Yeah. So having said
Sorry,
that,
struggle to turn it into a meaningful insights.
got it. See, look, data fragmentation is a big area, right? While you have data, while you look at data, how you look at data, integrate them, because there are a lot of strategic blind spots that you have. For example, you could have a product which is the best seller on hand for a e-commerce or a D2C seller online, right? And it sells more, so it contributes a higher percentage of your business. But if you don't make gross margins after your fulfillment and delivery, then at the end of the day, you're losing money, right? Now, so this requires not only from seller data perspective or an ad customer acquisition perspective, but also your logistics supply chain data. So how you look at data, when data is fragmented, how you unify and look at different ways and forms to have an actionable insight is very, very, very crucial. And that defines of how you can not only scale up, but be having a profitable growth is very important to business.
And sir, from your hands-on experience, what do you think is fundamentally broken in the way most e-commerce businesses operate and make decisions today?
Yeah, see, probably I'll include both SMEs and e-commerce in this case as such. So one is, like I said, data fragmentation is one opportunity, and even data collection at different points, right? You have your whole customer journey or a business journey, for example, in an SME, and so on and so forth. After data collection, there's a lot of leakage in which you use crucial part of the data, and what happens is that it's not just reports that you would want, right? You would want this data to be collected, refined, structured, and put in a way that gets you to see the metric basis which you take actions. Now, this has to work day in, day out, like your machinery on the shop floor or your field force system that happens, right? Now, this is one area or gap that would come in decision of any leader or decision maker, either in the e-commerce D2C or in the SME industry, which is what I would say at this point of time.
Let's bring it back to your product vision. So you have built what you call plug and play analytics tools. So sir, how exactly these different from traditional BI dashboards or heavy ERP based systems many companies rely on?
Sure. Let me introduce our new tool in the kit, which is called WAPZO, like I told you, WAPZO. Now, this is a smart data automation tool based on WhatsApp being the front end. Now, we have a very strong data engineering, data science setup at the back end. So what we found with the SME specifically on the focus is that the frontline or the blue-collared workers are digitally savvy. But having said that, their world revolves around three tools. One is YouTube, second is Insta, and third being WhatsApp. Now, what happens is when they are on the market in touch with customers, be it sales, be it operations, be it logistics, or even on the shop floor, for example, a quality check control and so on and so forth, they are required to input data. Now, when you have complex tools and complex apps that are put into place, they find it inconvenient, and often you need to train people, where there is huge turnaround or churn out and so on and so forth. It becomes very difficult for the organization to implement it. Wherein our product uses WhatsApp, which is very native and convenient to any user. All the smartphones, I assume that 100% would have WhatsApp today. And this being very convenient, data collection becomes like a conversation for them. It becomes very easy when the WhatsApp bot converses with them and you have processes at the back end. The data is very secure because WhatsApp is just a front end to collect data, but the data is actually sitting on the back end in a safe, secure cloud that we have. And over the top, we have built analytics which gives real-time data to the leaders and the managers who see these processes. So just quick in place on field, on shop floor, or on distribution centers which are remote in place and leaders want to take control. This will not only give them seamless data collection, it will have them data project on real time and metrics which becomes very actionable. So that is the differentiator, is what we would mention here.
And sir, to make that even more concrete, how do these tools help sellers, especially on platforms like Amazon or Flipkart, improve their performance? If you could share any real example.
Okay, this tool, what we mentioned on the WAPZO is more relevant to those SMEs who do offline as such. For Amazon sellers, obviously we use what is called as self-service analytics. Now you have, since you mentioned Amazon, let me put that example and then move to the SME businesses also, because we see a larger opportunity there too. So Amazon sellers, you have a seller central, you have a advertising portal, then you do have multiple other metrics. You have your supply chain and your financial accounting numbers also coming on from this platform, right? So we use connectors to pull data automatically at the back end. There's no manual intervention to download, work on Excels and spreadsheets and pull data. We pull it at the back end day in, day out automatically, wherein we organize all those data, cleanse it, and structure it, and offer them in specific custom built analytical insights through which they directly see the decision and take their calls day in, day out. So all this happens automatically in the self-serve analytics. And this is one use case that I would say for the Amazon sellers. When it comes to SMEs on Wapso, which I just spoke about a few minutes before, is more with respect to, it helps them to collect data very seamlessly, either in the shop floor or on the field, wherein data comes in the way that they want to see. All these are custom built. So unlike the regular tools that you see in the market, which are more generic and which could be expensive also, this is custom built. This does not change the process that they see, but automates the process and gives them the insight to take ready decisions. Yeah.
Now, beyond the technology, there's always a layer of human expertise. So, sir, how critical do you think custom advisory is in helping your clients make the right strategic moves?
Sure. Yeah. So, obviously there is no argument that smart tools, especially with the advent of AI and machine learning, beaming at the forefront, the smartest tools and the actionable tools that you choose is very critical to data success. But we usually layer advisory or more with strategic direction on the top of all these tools, right? Like while tools exist, you should know what next or how you go beyond data collection and automation, right? You need certain advisory wherein we come with very strong domain expertise of e-commerce. Me and my co-founder Shibu have collectively more than 45 plus years of experience into retail, e-commerce, and data specifically as such. So this gives us the right advantage of to understand CPG or an FMCG or a food and beverage or an apparel company, not only from just a sales marketing, but also from a manufacturing supply chain perspective. So that becomes critical beyond the product to see what you do apart from just automating processes, but how do you start taking the right decisions? Yeah.
That makes sense. Sir, could you walk us through a client story, someone you helped grow or turn around their online business using insights from 7 Sages?
Yeah, sure. I would like to mention about the story of Cosmix, with a brand called Cosmix, COSMIX, who are now a leader in plant-based protein foods, and they are into the space of health and wellness. They have a range of products which supplements health in the areas of protein, hair, skin, gut, and overall wellness, and so on and so forth. Now, back then, about when we started is when we had an opportunity to work with Cosmix in their very early stages. And the founders were very clear that using data right from the scratch, before even they went on to scale up the business that they have, was quite encouraging, amazing, and to see the foresight that they had, the vision that they had at that point of time. And we started building data right from scratch across all their channels, be their own website or marketplaces like Amazon, and now the quick commerce places also, and so on and so forth, that they we kind of partner with them, and they were highly kind of had the right vision to not only see the brand grow but also use data to take the right decisions. So we kind of work with them as a daily exercise with respect to seeing data and taking decisions that they have grown 1.5 2x year on year, and they are now the best sellers on Amazon over a period of time, like continuously for 3 years in plant protein. They are the market leaders in plant protein, and they are one of the brands which the consumers have strong retention and great love for them, and we feel thankful to the founders and the leaders out there for having worked together and believed in data. And it's often that we rarely find such brands and leaders who have this belief and have come so far. Yeah, so
That's a powerful example. Over the years of working with brands across D2C and CPG, what one insight that genuinely surprised you? Something you didn't expect going in?
yeah. See, one is what happens is that people often kind of in sales driven organizations, or even say you look at an SME, CPG, FMCG company who could be contract manufacturers and who could have their own brand through which they push it through channels to kind of expand. Most of them look at creating demand, marketing as the tool to kind of push business or pushing sales to scale up business and so on and so forth. But what I understand is there has to be a clear strategic link to their supply chain capability, right? How much of you promise, build relationship, get customers, and hold on to it without building your supply chain could be very directionally opposite. So that's one, I would say, learning also over a period of time, that I see that the supply chain capability has to be equally as good as oil machinery, as much as is your front end, which is your sales and marketing, to kind of grow your business, not only at a pace that you would want, also building trust with customers is very crucial.
Now, switching gears to founder behavior, what are some of the most common mistakes you have seen founders or marketers make when they try to scale their e-commerce operations?
Yeah, sure. Well, again, in this case, I would touch upon the marketers with respect to e-commerce and also use an SME or a small business example also, because that's the opportunity also of what we see is, see, again, what happens is that marketers or rather business leaders focus more with certain functions and believe that brand visibility and about more pushing towards communication and strategic directions through which you pitch the brand, scale up and pricing and so on and so forth has been the larger focus. But where they miss out on is gross margins of the product. The product that you choose to pitch or the customers whom you choose with respect to your service industry is very, very critical. It is applicable both for D2C e-commerce businesses as much as an SMB or an SME enterprise that you could call. Here, it could be products that you pitch. Here, it could be customers that you choose. Both have to be giving you profitable growth, meaning you could really drive the product to kind of earn you the top line. But if the bottom line isn't as good as you want to grow the organization and keep it sustainable over a period of time, then it could completely turn different directions. Yeah.
Let's talk future. Srinivasan sir, how do you see the e-commerce analytics space evolving over the next few years? Are there any trends or shifts you are preparing for?
Yeah, of course. With the advent of AI, you see complete shift on how analytics is being built. The ability to kind of generate insights at the speed of light and so on and so forth is quite amazing, right? And AI now becoming more and more accessible and conversational to all individuals and businesses and so on and so forth is definitely a game changer. That's going to be a big game changer as such. But with respect to, again, e-commerce and small medium businesses, especially with small medium businesses, which could also include your retail D2C of under 100 crore brand and so on and so forth, right? So if I speak at small businesses who are either manufacturing or who are distributing or who are just sellers and so on and so forth, there are about 6.1 or 6.3 crores of MSMEs today in India, and they contribute close to 30% of India's GDP. 48% of exports are done by SMEs. So on the overall manufacturing output, SMEs contribute to more than 45% plus. But Let me also put this number saying that only approximately 30 to 35% have adopted digital tools, and that too only in their core functions. So what happens is there is a huge gap in, or opportunity, I would say, for somebody like us, for the new brand that I mentioned as Wapso, to kind of speak to this small medium enterprises, small businesses, young D2C, to of course D2C is already having the advantage of being in the channel which already has data, right? But more with respect to small medium enterprises who's a retail manufacturer, contract manufacturer, who also sells his brand. Imagine that scenario. Is still a huge opportunity in digital tool adoption. So that could be a game shift, and a clear visible opportunity. And combined with AI and machine learning, I think the landscape is going to be bigger and bigger.
And what's next for Seven Sages Solution? Are you planning new SaaS products, platform integrations, or even a move into new markets?
Yeah. So as I told you, we are clearly in the next near future, we are clearly focused on two product lines. One is self-service analytics, and the other is Wapso, the WhatsApp-based data automation tool, and as such. And obviously, AI and machine learning is going to play an important part. We are looking to kind of speak to small, medium businesses, small, medium enterprises that, like I told you, there's a huge opportunity there. There's a huge market there. Their contribution is very significant. So we're looking to speak to them, get our tool adopted more and more, and being a part of this tool, not just another generic or very expensive tool for them, but what we would want to really focus on, not only being very convenient, it is very affordable to them in helping them taking their daily decisions. Yeah.
Sir, before we wrap up, we'll do a quick fire round. Just say the first thing that comes to your mind.
Yep.
First question. One myth about e-commerce analytics you wish more people understood.
I would say a gross margin. So e-commerce myth is that the product or the service which sells most need not be beneficial to the organization. At the end of the day, you will have to see the gross margin beyond your fulfillment, which is logistics and supply chain. That's the myth that I see that has to be broken.
A second question. A client story that still gives you goosebumps.
Yeah, in fact, I'll tell you two, since I mentioned about two different product lines. One is cosmetics, like I told you much earlier. Thankful to the founders who have had the trust with us, and the leaders continuing to kind of work with us and partner us. From there, where they were when we were really kind of listing the products and the brands on Amazon, apart from their own website, today they are marching around towards 100 crore brand. Maybe this financial year, and so on and so forth. So tremendous growth, right from literally a very small base to a brand that is being most loved in the plant protein space is truly inspiring for us. The other is with our Wapso early adopter customer that we saw, who does pet product distribution, is such, while they themselves had a wonderful app and kind of tool that they would use, they still went with this, the smart intent of automizing data and using data in their daily data, business decisions, where we would, particularly mention. So these two are very close and very inspiring to us. We also get to learn from our customers daily. Yeah.
Answer the last question. And one KPI every founder should obsess over.
Operating cash flow, because cash is the king ultimately. That is something that is very close to my heart, and obviously, like I keep repeating, gross margin is something that is a very clear, dear metric, that at the end of the day, that you look at a service product or even at a customer level, because that decides how far you will go with your business and how profitable that you are along with growth.
Srinivasan sir, this has been a fascinating deep dive, not just into analytics, but into how strategy, tools, and people intersect to power modern commerce. Thank you for sharing your journey, your frameworks, and your insights. We wish you and the team at Seven Sages all the success ahead.
Thank you, Nishal. Thank you for having us here and all the very best. Thank you.